Dr. Sugandhi, I think we can start now.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. The most valuable possession you can own is an open heart. The most powerful weapon you can be is an instrument of peace. Good evening and a very warm welcome to all the dignitaries and distinguished guests. I am Dr. Sukanti Narayanan, Principal of Aikita Public School, Bangalore, Chief Management Officer of Harvard's Educational Transformative Solutions Council, member of WICI, Women Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Karnataka, Training and Development Council, extend my greetings and gratitude to one and all present here. Light is a universal symbol of truth, knowledge, and understanding. The lighting of a lamp removes darkness, ignorance, and happiness, spreading the Almighty's grace and divine energy in the surrounding. Light also symbolizes abundance, prosperity, and knowledge. The lighting of a lamp is regarded as the path down to knowledge. Where the oil in the lamp denote our vices, the cotton wick is the symbolism of ego of a person. And when the lamp is lit, the vice is demolished and the ego drives away. The flame of the lamp goes in an upward direction, which signifies one should obtain knowledge in a way that uplifts oneself to do higher deeds. So let's join in for the lighting of the lamp and Saraswati Vandana. I request head spectacle team to do the needful.
शुभं करोति कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धन सम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धि विनाशाय दीपज्योते नमोस्तुते दीप ज्योति परब्रह्मा दीपज्योति जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं सन्ध्यादीप नमोस्तुते
Thank you, Mr. Rahil. Peace is a daily, a weekly, and monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, and quietly building new structures, said by John F. Kennedy. Peace can challenge us to discover ourselves and perhaps allow us to surrender to our circumstances. We need to remember that to live in peace is not to have a sky without a storm or work without fatigue. Peace does not mean to be in a place there is no noise or trouble. It means to be in the midst of all chaos and so be calm at the heart. Also to find strength in forgiveness, hope in battles, security in the stage of fear, and love in discomfort. It is not only to celebrate the success, but to learn lessons from the failures. It is not only to feel happy with the applause, but to be happy in anonymity. It is not only to enjoy the smile, but also reflect on the silence. The real peace is a state of mind and not a state of surroundings. And peace begins with a smile. A smile is the only curve that sets everything straight. I once again welcome all of you to the World Summit 2020-21 with collaboration of Health and Free Hedge. Free Hedge. What is that? PreHitch is a company, is an organization aimed at helping and guiding individuals as of answering their problems about work, life skills, and management with PreHitch, that is, head, heart, and hand. It doesn't teach, just live, it's taught, and the intensity changes others. Love, respect, patience, good laws, and fair justice are the best instruments. It believes in working together and succeed with integrity, develops education by empowering students, parents, and teachers socially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and professionally through workshops, sessions, training programs with a vision to create passion with compassion and more smiles. In 2007, it stepped out with almost 50 members and now risen to thousands small steps of each member from different place and profession and made it a big contribution in the field of humanity to create a difference in self and others' life. Our learnings are beyond books and syllabus. We enjoy learning everywhere from games to cinema, outings, and visiting Balwadis to bring smiles to them, says the founder and the director, Ms. Chanchal Bhargav. And Ms. Chanchal Bhargav, an edu lover, a motivational speaker, teacher, trainer, psychological counselor, advocate, and a spiritual wellness coach, enjoys her passion as a communicator, helping and guiding individuals about work, life skills, and management with PreHitch. She has worked with 500 plus people online on youth mentorship, EI, women empowerment, leadership, management skills, and education to civilization, Vidamba, World of Wonders, Jeevan Gate, and art exhibition, and many more things she has done. And ma'am, she has also developed education in rural areas. She envisages a virtual mini university for overall growth and holistic development for all individuals with human values, freedom, and creative ideology. And Ms. Chanchal Bhargav is a national and international awardee. And our articles and messages are published in some of the famous magazines like Window to the Future, Wednesday Times, and Spiritual Connect Inner Reflections. She believes in human empowerment and power of love to raise and rise. Ms. Chanchal, truly honored to share the virtual stage with you, ma'am. And I kindly request you to share your thought. And before that, I would request Mr. Rahil, to play the video. And after the video, Ms. Chanchal Bhargav, we request you to share your views.
या अल्लाह, आज सलीम का पहला रोजा कबूल फरमा और इसे सलामती अता कर। आमीन।
समीना
जी जी, सारी 15 मिनट में तैयार हो जाए।
दुआ है एक जरिया जिससे सुनता सबकी खुदा, दुआ है एक जरिया जिससे सुनता सबकी खुदा, नेमतें बरसाता वो, रहमतें बरसाता वो ना तुझसे जुदा, दुआ है एक जरिया जिससे सुनता सबकी खुदा, दुआ है एक जरिया। अरे बेटा
सलीम, आदिल, तुम इलाज के लिए जा रहे हो ना? मेरी सलामती की दुआ
मगर ये
तुम रख लो। आमीन।
मुझसे पहले तू, मुझसे पहले तू, मेरी दुआ में रखा है तुझको ही रूबरू, दुआ है एक जरिया।
Thank you, ma'am, for wonderful intro, putting me in your golden frame of words. 3H is an organization, it's not a company, where we actually laugh together, we work together, and it's like by the family, as people are inside with by, for, and of. So we are just together to take care, to bless each other. We learn from each other there. So it works for human values. Moreover, we keep ourselves, transparent in our ideology. This time, this is the best example. Like one thought is shared that why do we only rest in peace? Why don't we live in peace? And all together we come along and it has become an event. So this happens only when we are free, you know, from all type of resentful thoughts. Surely, then it becomes peace. And for me, this is wonderful that every person in this world has some or the other ways, their ideas, their path, their thoughts. And when we collaborate, when we make our joint efforts, they come up beautifully all together, giving a wonderful, thoughtful, and insightful ways of learning. Here today we are with HEADS. It's a training solution educational company which works in all type of solutions. So we would be sharing, we would be learning, again together heading towards peace. Because once when we find somebody in trouble or somebody wants us in any need, either it is at the time of need or happiness or joys or tears, and we join our hands together, it becomes manifold. So let's multiply our joys together today with heads. Listen to all the panelists, those who are here. I hearty welcome and congratulate each one of the panelists here. So my Hare Krishna to all, and thank you once again to all panelists and heads to be here with 3H, making this event a successful one.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Chanchal. That was nice of you. Your words were very short and crisp, and it was very informative. Thank you for that. Whenever we step out, we are often reminded to be careful. Why? Our safety depends not only on us, but on people around us. The same is applicable here. Even if we live in peace, things happening around us may disturb us and we lose our peace of mind. But why do you think people don't live in peace? Is it because they are still unaware of what life is exactly about? The ancient land of India gave a message of peace and harmony to the world, to all humanity. It gave a method, a technique for achieving peace and harmony. What's that? That is the conversion. Conversion from one company to another for beneficial benefit, or from one religion to another religion for spiritual benefit. Now, it's the conversion. Conversion must be from misery to happiness, from bondage to liberation, from purity to compassion, and from impurity of mind to purity of mind. That is the conversion needed today. And I'm sure that is what this summit is seeking to bring about, and which has come to an action because of heads and 3H. Heads, Harvest Educational Transformation Solution. It is an evolving institution that constantly assesses education system and processes that brings the interface of education and technology at globally recognized social enterprise, providing essential knowledge, assessment, counseling program, workplace skills, and customized solutions to institutes and individuals. Our priority is mentoring youngsters with the skill they need to manage and thrive on their own. We guide students to manage both external and internal pressure in life, catering to skill development and skill enhancement orientation programs envisioned to create a paradigm to Indian education and training industry. We are ardently involved in delivering various skills development programs which has bridged the gap between employability and employment. And the founder and managing director of HETS, Dr. Aruna Watkar, is a dedicated and resourceful, passionate educator coming with an army background for over more than 3 decades in the field of education and corporate, and is a visionary to create a learning environment across for teachers and children as an intellectual and emotional individuals, equipping them with personal values and tomorrow's leader with ethics and learning so that they'll love to be a lifelong learners. Our motive is to impart education beyond books, where an educator should create relevant learning amidst the accelerating change of the environment to grow in a climate of non-threatening respect and trust, where teachers need to be empowered rightly to create innovators and researchers in them for the right teaching and technology. Dr. Aruna is associated with many organizations, and she is an educationist over 3 decades of experience and has diligently played role of a teacher, academic coordinator, principal, director, principal, academic head, regional director of schools and trainers. And she has got a various national and international awards to add feathers to her cap. Dr. Aruna Watkar, ma'am, the stage is yours. Dr. Aruna, kindly unmute.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suganti, and good evening once again, each one of you on this evening, a platform of Heads and 3H. And yes, each one of us are doing a bit of our responsibility and our duty towards the country. And I'm just a drop in the ocean, and each one of us should be a drop in the ocean to make it bigger. That is how it is to be, I think, of. So, when I talk about the heads, it is like we started in the organization. It's not actually a company, but an organization that started in 2017, registered with MSME and QCI, the Quality Control Institute, which has gradually taken up a beautiful shape along with 28 on-board members from various fields to define, design, and groom the forthcoming generation as per the need of an hour. We firmly believe that teaching is not about knowledge downloads, but opening the minds of young learners, guiding them towards learning comprehensively, focusing on the overall development of oneself. We actually create an education system. We actually create an education system like more suited to the new generation trends. The reason behind it, because we want to bring in the future through the blend of modern and conventional pedagogy to scale up the institutions with quality delivery and exceptional results, where right now many of them are doing, but where are we heading to? It is a thought to be pondered upon. We have conducted numerous projects and training across pan-India. And also, let me inform you that we are ardently involved in delivering various skill development programs, which is designed to bridge the gap of employability and entrepreneurship. Because now, as per the new education policy, entrepreneurship plays an important role until unless we develop the skill of the students. Yes, this is a short note about what HEADS is. And I'm so glad that we are able to collaborate with Ms. Chanchal Bhargav on the 3H Head, Heart and Hands organization to share more and learn more. So when we talk about peace, it is when we say that while we are alive, we can't live in peace. Why? Because we have desires, dreams, wants, anger, greed, and hate. Being alive, one deals with what makes us alive in the first place. We can live in peace, it's the matter of mentality and life. How we handle the situation and how we face the hurdles that come up in our life. Peace is within us. We have, and it is possible only when we have the control of our mind. What is peace? In my point is living life at understanding level, when you understand yourself, when you master your mind, when you're no longer in control of your destroying thoughts for others, when you understand the power of love and self-love, when you know that everything is happening for your own growth, then when you understand this beautiful life you are given to, when you understand, that's when that can make you at peace, live in peace before we rest in peace, right? So we all are bound by the forces of nature, and we have developed ourselves in a way where we accept, feel and act. So whatever you do, let me tell you people on this platform and all the audience, it's not going to work to live in peace for each one of us until unless you leave yourself the main word I. Ego is the one that mainly spoils our mental ability. So I would request that each one of us, let us remove our ego, join hands to collaborate, let us grow, make others grow, and we build up a beautiful future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Aruna, for that precise speech. And yes, there is a very little margin between self-esteem and ego. We need to understand that. And now we have a keynote speaker today with us, Dr. Aarti Pahua. Dr. Aarti Pahua is an ophthalmologist specialized in refractive surgery and advanced cataract surgeries. At a very young age, she has achieved great heights in her field. After finishing her MBBS in the year 2012 from KJ Somia University in Mumbai, she then pursued her master's in ophthalmology from Mahatma Gandhi Mission in Mumbai. After her post-graduation in 2015, she joined fellowship in advanced cataract and refractive surgery at one of the leading institutes of India, Narayana Nethralaya in Bangalore. Along with her fellowship, she even completed her PhD in ophthalmology and passed FAICO in refractive surgery fellowship. Her academic interest has led her to present multiple papers and posters at various national and international conferences. She is invited frequently as a guest speaker at various platforms to share her knowledge. She conducts regular courses for doctors to train them in refractive surgery. She believes in delivering constant social service and giving back to the society. She regularly takes part in the surgical eye camp held every 3 months in Vrindavan and Dungarpur. In February 2017, she has been awarded with the title Ophthalmic Hero of India by All India Ophthalmic Society in Jaipur for her outstanding performance in ASCRS, American Society of Cataract and Refractive Surgery, held in New Orleans. Dr. Aarti, pleasure to have you with us today, and the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, ma'am, for such kind introduction. A very good evening to one and all present here. I would like to take a moment here first and express my gratitude to Ms. Chanchal Bhargav, founder and director 3H, and Dr. Aruna Wadkar, founder and managing director Hertz, for inviting me here in their joint venture on World Peace Summit. Rest in peace versus live in peace. I hope I can make my talk as interesting as this title. So let me begin with this anecdote. I'm a doctor, graduated from an institute in Bangalore, India. On the last day of my academic career, when I went to my professor, I still remember he was sitting on a chair in his cabin, surrounded by students, basically budding doctors. I thanked him for what he has given me over the years. I thanked him for sharing his knowledge and his skills so selflessly. Thanked him for making me what I am today. I couldn't control my emotions and I soon had teary eyes. I couldn't resist but tell him that whatever I am today, I am because of you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be as skilled as I am today. I wouldn't be able to perform surgeries as brilliantly as I can. And he just smiled and told me something. Told me something which inspired me. This conversation is still so clear in my head. He told me, Aarti, how many surgeries do you think I can perform? 50 in a day, maybe 17,000 in a year, maybe few less or maybe few more. Do you know what I have done? And I stared at him, wondering what he'll say next. He said, I have trained you, made you efficient enough to perform a brilliant surgery as I can, shared my skills and my knowledge. Now, when you go back and do a surgery, my count, which was 50 per day, has increased to 1 more. And that's all because of you. As while you are doing a surgery, a part of it is mine. So imagine if you perform X amount of surgeries, those X amount has my contribution in it. I cannot reach everywhere. I have my own limitations, but by this, I have made my skills immortal. And it was this moment which laid the foundation of a mentor in me. Being a mentor not necessarily means standing in a classroom and teaching students. Teaching does not necessarily mean that you need to be an educator. Sharing knowledge has different forms. A mother who teaches her child how to walk is a mentor to him. A parent who guides his children is as good as a teacher to him. Sharing knowledge can be as simple as sharing your favorite recipe with your neighbor, or probably giving a piece of advice. As it is said rightly by Eleanor Roosevelt, learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them all yourself. Sharing your knowledge and experiences is just like two sides of the same coin. It not only helps others grow, but also gets you one step closer to peace. As Confucius said, as far back as in 500 BC, education breeds confidence. Confidence breeds hope, and hope breeds peace. So your pathway towards peace passes through education. I'll share another short story with you all. So when I was in undergrad, just at the beginning of my surgical skills, there was one step in cataract surgery which I was just not getting it correct. I had multiple failed attempts, and in spite of repeated tries, I just couldn't get that step correct. And there was a point where my teacher kind of got really angry at me, and a point where I thought that this it looked like a dead end. But in one little corner of my mind and my heart, I didn't want to give up. I went to what is called a simulator, where I practiced that particular step over and over again for hours together till I got it correct. When I went back to my teacher a few days later, I knew so much more that day. And I realized there is something about knowledge. There is something about if you want to learn, even if you don't know anything about it, if you have the ambition to be somewhere, if you prepare yourself, you can have the ability to do it better than everybody else. So that's how powerful knowledge is. So why keep it within us? Why restrict its reach? Sharing your skills and knowledge will only help it to multiply. As it is said, you grow, we grow. And we have a live example of this present here today, Dr. Seema Negi ma'am, who has always encouraged me at various platforms, and I can't thank her enough. Just ending where I began, where the words of my teacher laid the foundation of mentor in me, I kept that flame burning. Today, I sit here in front of you as a person who regularly conducts refractive surgical teaching courses for eye surgeons, where people travel from all the parts of India to learn and share my surgical experience. It's been a good journey so far, and in last 4 years, I have trained nearly 120 eye surgeons in different type of refractive surgery. And this is how I keep teaching, this is how I keep my teaching spirit alive in me. You don't need to be an educator. You don't need to have an institute, or you don't need to have a big academic network to share your knowledge. Sharing is contagious, and you can spread from any aspect of life. You know what? My biggest dream is to leave behind a legacy. And with this mentorship, I make my skill immortal. So I hope I have conveyed my point and motivated at least one person listening to this to share their knowledge and help others. It's beautiful feeling to see how others smile because of you, to see others grow, which has your contribution in it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. RP. Sharing is caring. Yes. And you have trained 120 eye surgeons. You have given a better vision for the vision of people. And may your dream come true.
Thank you.
First, find peace within yourself. One has to examine whether there is real peace within oneself. That means not merely knowing at the intellectual level or accepting at the emotional or devotional level, but realizing by experience at the actual level. When you experience the truth about yourself, within yourself, at the experimental level, the problems of life find their solution. So today, we have 5 eminent speakers who are going to throw light on this. Ms. Saraswati, Mr. Nagraj Shetty, Dr. Anurup Kaur, Mr. Vivek Patra, and Ms. Seema Jain. So let me introduce one by one, and then we will move on to them. Ms. Saraswati is embodiment of passion, courage, and vibrant qualities to change the world through education. She is first of all a passionate teacher and eminent leader who is channeled in the right way of principles, and her passion inspires everyone around her. As a principal, she strongly believes in John Holt's quote, "If we don't see justice in our classroom, how can we see it in the society?" So she leaves no stones unturned to ensure that students grow in the classroom, not only by science, but also in curiosity. We next have Mr. Nagraj Shetty, who has over 2 decades of corporate and world experience, mainly into banking and finance. And he's currently serving as one of the co-founder in the leading gold lending fintech firm called Gold UNO. He is MBA graduate and currently pursuing his PhD and LLM. He is honored with many prestigious awards. He is humble and down-to-earth person who is always ready to lend his hand to help the needy people in any capacity. To support his initiative, he has founded Shanayu Empire Foundation. And under this foundation, he has umbrella of services, namely counseling, NLP, life coaching, healing, parenting, career coaching, therapist, DMIT, domain and website services, etc. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We next have Dr. Anurup Kaur, Principal of Bharatram Global School, Indirapuram, Chief Training Officer of Harvest Educational Transformation Solutions, and has been serving in the field of education for past 25 years. She has received various awards, which includes the Best Principal Award from CED 2021 and also Certificate of Achievement in the field of education in 2020 and Star of Asia Award in 2014 and many more. She has conducted various workshops for parents, teachers, students on different topics such as CCE, virtual revolution in education, diagnostic assessment, etc. We also have Mr. Vivek Patra, who is an alumnus of IIT Delhi, is a faculty of human resource and soft skill trainer at Diwan BS Group Institutions, Meerut, Delhi, NCR. With more than 14 years of experience spread across in corporates and academia, Mr. Patra is a certified faculty in human values and professional ethics by AICT. He has also served as mentor at IIT Bombay for its social vertical Abhyudhaya for entrepreneurial projects. Vivek loves to coach, train, and develop individuals in different spheres of life. In nutshell, training is a passion for him, and he is also the founder of Sankalp, a promise for a life society for empowering the not so very privileged children and youth through experiential and activity-based education. Vivek believes everyone is born with a purpose. All we need is a touch of care and compassion to bring our human health. The next up is Seema Jain, who is a motivational speaker, growth coach, social enthusiastic, and influencer. She's a passionate about growth, leadership, and holistic development. She has completed engineering from NIT Jaipur, masters from IISc Bangalore, and has close to 2 decades of experience in top corporates. She has more than a decade of rich experience in leadership, coaching people, and leading complex projects. She believes in empowering minds, and in doing so, she runs courses and webinars and topics like effective communication skills, time management, tools, and leadership. Yeah. So these are the 5 eminent speakers today. And to manage these 5 eminent speakers, we need somebody, a strong person, right? A strong
Yes.
woman loves.
I'm so sorry to intervene, Dr. Sugandhi. I think we have Saraswati also here.
I have spoken, ma'am. already.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
A strong woman loves, forgives, walks away, let go, tries again, and perseveres, no matter what life gives her. And is a very appropriate for the moderator of today's event, Dr. Sivani. Dr. Negi is a Global Goodwill Ambassador and educator and the principal of Sanjeevani World School, Mumbai, India, and she is the coordinator for SAARC Nations Regional Committee for Global Youth Parliament. She is the Secretary General from India for Global Talk Education. She has won prestigious Crown of Education Queen in 2018 and Miss Role Model in 2018, and the list goes on. It's very difficult for me, and she is also the recipient of many national and international awards. Her passion and dedication lies in contributing her time and efforts to betterment of society and education. She is an eminent speaker, and today we have here, and she stands by her maxim, I am because we are. And for her, our team and our students are always the top priority. I hand over the virtual stage to Dr. Seema Negi. Dr. Seema, the stage is yours, and all the best. And we are waiting to hear from all the eminent speakers to see how to live in peace, to rest in peace.
Thank you, Dr. Sugandhi, and good evening, everyone. Once again, it's so enriching. We heard what Chanchalji has to say, what Dr. Aruna has to say, and what Dr. Aarti has to say. And what we experience that we are listening from different generation. But one thing that remains same is be a good human. If you are a good human, definitely you are going to ensure that you are spreading happiness and peace. So as Chanchalji said at the beginning, that she came up with this thought that she wanted to have this session about rest in peace versus live in peace, and how she has seen a beautiful symphony where everybody started collaborating, and today we have reached so many episodes, and each and every episode is voice of a different sector of society. Now, as Dr. Sugandhi said that to moderate a panel, she wanted somebody strong. I'm just thinking, am I a ringleader of the circus, or I am with the magic wand to create some magic? Let's see what are we going to do, but definitely I won't be a ringleader, okay? Because otherwise, if you see, when we talk about training word started with dog training. Okay, and they do learn very well. So we really modified it a little, and from training we came to mentoring, because we just do not train, but we provide the kind of support that everybody needs. Because when we mentor, we really try to give them the holistic experience. We try to be there for our mentees. So that is why it's a beautiful session wherein all the mentors are there, and let's see what mentors have to say. To start with this beautiful panel, which is not very well balanced, because we can see Nari Shakti there, but that's perfectly all right, because Navratris are going on, so we have to maintain that. So we have maintained it very well. We can see 4 females here and 3 females have already spoken. So 4 plus 5, 6, 7. 7 din ki Navratris are over. Today is 8th Navratri. That is our Sugandhi. So we are a very, very balanced panel C today. You know, so much planning goes behind that, and we have done it purposely. Those who do not know, even if we have not done it, we have to make it that way, right? Because that is what life is. Very well said in a Sanskrit phrase, Yad bhav tad bhavati. The way you think, so shall be. So you have to think in a positive manner. You need to be the carrier of peace, because peace begins with a smile. So let us begin with a smile from our very first panelist, Mr. Nagra Shetty. Is all geared up, and we'll start from there only. So, Mr. Shetty, when we talk about rest in peace versus live in peace, I want to know from you your concept note, your opening address. What is peace meant for you? What does peace mean for you? And how you are the one who is spreading peace everywhere? Mr.
Great,
Shetty.
madam. Yeah. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for inviting me to this great occasion of live in peace versus rest in peace. It's a topic I think one can talk throughout the day. On I can go on and go on this topic because we all talk about the rest in peace, or all of our messages are same, your thoughts are same. It get connects to the ultimate goal of spreading the peace across the world and making this world a better place to live. So for me, I believe the peace is something if we live in peace only, we can rest in peace. Because we believe in karma. Karma repeats, right? We keep on hearing that what goes around, which comes around, but hardly we believe and implement the action around it, right? So if we know our existence and the purpose in the form of this human life, and if we take the charge of our every action in a way, the responsibility, and if we are able to duplicate the same mantra, the world will prosper within 1.5 months, because it will work at the compounding method, the exponential growth. We already spoke, and there is a story behind that also. You might have known that the story is all about halfback chessboard, right? So I don't repeat. It's a great story. I think you all know about it. So I'm saying the message, if we believe that there is a possibility of spreading the peace in a way, if we believe that it can be transformed in a easy manner, and everyone follow the same thing, everyone try to duplicate it, it can cover the whole world within 1.5 months. So we all are going through a tough situation due to this pandemic. But amidst all the cures in the world, we forgot to take care of our own minds and body. And we try to live in a peace. We see that someone else, who would come and take off your peace of mind. But tell me, is your peace of mind is so cheap that you give it to anyone and everyone at any rate? Living in peace is not that difficult when you bring wisdom into your life. Believe me, I have walked in so many phases of life. You could see the small. When I moved to Mumbai, in fact, in 1999, after 10th standard, this entire, the Bombay, we used to call it Bombay that time. It's like a delusion. It's like a, Maya Nagri, right? I did not even know the knowledge. I did not even know the language, where to do, what to do, how to continue my further education kind of things. But, I hear from the small village, I had that confidence within me that I can do anything. And that confidence in me, because I know my capacity, I know where I can go, what is my goal in life, because I am strong enough to reach up to that level where I wanted to go, right? That's a belief within me, right? That's a message or the culture which I brought in my family. I got it from my parents, my family. So if everybody think of in that manner, at we call it in Hindi as sanskar, right? Sanskar. Everybody should get those sanskar. We can spread those peace so easily into this world. So, and the other day, if you ask what is peace, so it's all about living life by mastering your mind. One has to keep ready to learn the new things. The moment if I sit, in the moment I sit saying that I know everything, and at the end of the day I'll be like a paralyzed person. I won't be able to take much as possible. So when you are no longer in a control of your destroying thoughts, when you understand the power of love and self-love, when you know that everything is happening for your growth, right? When you understand this beautiful life you are given to, when you understand that it's only you that you can make at peace, live in this moment. Future and past, they only exist for our brain that we create. Live happily and smile more. Face this problem with a gain grin on your face. Nothing is permanent, not even problems. Life will throw problems at you. It's life's way to teach you. So learn from this teacher and be at peace and master your soul, right? So one has to be ready for the change because change is the nature of life. Accept and live your life peacefully. Don't wait for the death to be peaceful. There is a say we already we say that we should live in peace, as after death our body will anyways be into pieces. But what we do, other way around, we live in pieces and expect to be in peace after death. It's so strange, right? The reason we don't live in peace is also because of our intrinsic nature to become or better ourselves. In turn, this generally means someone else is getting shaft whether we see it or not, right? Hence, take every positive thing from the outside in as a fresh air within the body and leave the rest outside there only. Life is beautiful if there is love within us. In this modern world, everyone is hungry, for power. The power of love has been overpowered the love of for power. It has made people blind. If we really want to live in peace, we have to let the power of love emerge victorious over the love for power, right? So why wait until we are dead? Why not be completely at peace while we are still alive? Does we really live in peace after death? Does everyone's prayer count of when somebody the message count of they say the rip, right? What does that mean actually? Will that really help to stay in peace after death? Why so much of dilemma when we can sure that if we do good works, we can be surely rest in peace? I think this is what you are getting at, which is something many religions have struggled to get people to understand for a long time, right? So I still, something I read in a told book. The secret to life is to die before you die. The secret to life is to die before you die. That's the far thinking we need to think now. If you think such a far message, or what is going to be tomorrow, and what is my worth in this world, right? We are so busy in creating our own money, reputation, but end of the day it won't last, it won't be with us. There's a if I'll quote the great some of the messages from Mahabharata, when in the war of Mahabharata, when Arjuna was confused, his charioteer, Lord Krishna advised him some rational philosophical concept about life. Sri Krishna gave such knowledge to the whole world through Arjuna, by adapting which a person can live his life in this world with absolute happiness and peace. I won't be taking much time. Hardly I'll quote 2 or 3 messages. That is, man is made by his beliefs. As he believes, so he is. From all thoughts of I and mine, a man finds absolute peace. Right? The one he has to free from all thoughts of I and mine. We came here with empty-handed, and so will you leave. What is yours today belongs to someone else yesterday, and tomorrow someone else will call it his. Make it easy for yourself. Get organized. Live the moment. Your day-to-day activities should not steal your happiness. There is neither self-knowledge nor self-perception to those whose senses are not under control. Without self-perception, there is no peace, and without peace, there can be no happiness. Even some of the mentors also even show the path of peacemaking, who are honored with Nobel Peace Prize, like Wangari Maathai. She has recently passed away. She is from United Nations. According to her, we cannot tire or give up. We owe it to the present and future generations of all species to rise up and walk. She's a globally recognized champion for human rights and women's empowerment. She's a professor. Maathai was a pioneer in articulating the links between human rights, poverty, environmental protection, and security. for which she got a Nobel Prize in 2004. Like as there are so many Nobel Peace Prize winner from India also, right? Mother Teresa, Kofi Annan, Nelson Mandela. So everybody has worked in their own field and show the path, path to the followers that there is a way there. If you live in peace, there is always a way that sure that you can rest in peace hereafter. So I want to conclude by saying the cry for life beyond the grave is presumptuous if there is no cry for eternal life prior to our descending into the grave. Eternity is God has planted in us the seed of eternal life. The world to come is not only a hereafter, but here now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Shetty. That was very well put up. And as you said, your confidence, your belief, your culture, your sanskar, that is what I think made you what you are today. And when you are at peace with your own self, you see how you're growing in each and every sphere of your life. So you have put up your thoughts very well. And you also said that peace begins with a smile. So we need to smile more often. So I can see a beautiful Seema Jain smiling. So I think let's come to Seema Jain. Seema, I would like to know from you that being a mentor, training people, how do we spread peace? How do we spread happiness? And how we ensure that you as an individual is the agent of peace? You are an individual who's changing the world just because you have a belief that world needs to be a peaceful place to live.
Great, thank you. Can you hear me all? Am I audible?
Yes, you are loud and clear.
Great. So I would want to start with a question. Is it possible for us to spread peace if we are not peaceful inside? Is it possible for us to spread peace if we are not peaceful inside? See, I might have only 2 rotis and I can give it to you and starve and be hungry and sleep at night without food. But if I am not peaceful, is it possible for me to spread peace? See, a wife comes home, very busy, hectic schedule, completely overwhelmed, and she comes home with that mental stressed state of mind. Is it possible for her to spread peace at home? Let us forget about the world first. A husband, after the whole day at office shouting and all these things, once he starts to come home, is it possible for him to spread peace at home? So the most important question is that the whole cosmic consciousness is built of individual consciousness. The whole world is made up of individuals, and to spread peace to the whole world means to be an individual person with peace. And when have you felt peaceful? Like, I just want to understand, if anyone in this panel wants to answer, or when have you felt peaceful? If somebody wants to answer, like, when have you felt peaceful?
Any moment. Peace is, as you said, it all begins from mind. It is inside. It is very intrinsic. So any moment, if you ask me, sitting here with all the panelists, this is peace. This is peace.
Right.
So it again starts with you. Yes.
Absolutely, Seema. And that is true. Like, we feel peaceful when we are comfortable with ourselves. What is going inside our head? We get answers to our unanswered questions. And sometimes we are comfortable with not getting answers to our unanswered questions. So it is completely an internal game, not comparing ourselves with others, not comparing our success with others, being okay, being comfortable with ourselves. And most importantly, liking what we want and doing what we like to do. For example, I am here talking to all of you, not because I have to, but because I like to. And all of you are in this panel sitting and spreading knowledge, not because any one of you have to, but because you like to. And that is the most important thing, doing what we like to do. And I really want to thank Heads and 3H and all of you for the kind of work that you are doing in helping people find their ikigai. And when I say ikigai, I mean all of us know finding the true purpose of our life. And only, by mentoring, when you mentor people like Dr. Aruna and Charu and all of you, when we mentor people, the only objective is that the person finds answers to his own questions, finds out what he really wants to do, his purpose in life, his ikigai so that he can find peace inside, and that peace he can spread outside. So I am really like to congratulate all of you for the kind of amazing work that you are doing, spreading that light of peace across. So that's all from my side, Seema.
That was beautiful. Yes, we all try to find our ikigai. Some of us find it while we are having a morning cup of coffee. Some of us find it while we are reading our book. So there is no particular definition when you find peace. Again, it begins from mind. As it is rightly said, I am the mind. If I am set, everything is set. This brings me to Mr. Vivek. Mr. Vivek, I would like to know from you your perspective, your vision. When you train people, when you speak to people, when you are there standing in front of a large gathering as a person who is going to mentor so many people, do you think your persona, your speech, your words, your body, and everything around you resonates peace so that it can then pass on to your audience?
Absolutely, Seema ji, and good evening, everyone. First of all, I'm very happy and peaceful right now because I have got the opportunity to share my views. And I think, as it was said by you, Seema ji, that peace can come at any moment. Rather, it is eternal, what I would say. So I'm really thankful to Dr. Aruna Watkar ma'am for bestowing this opportunity upon me. Ms. Chanchal Bhargav ma'am for collaborating with HETS and bringing out this wonderful program. I am representing Diwan BS group of institutions at Meerut, Delhi NCR. And the joy, the reason for my happiness is also because I am representing HETS as a honorary learning and development officer. And this capacity gives me a lot of purpose, in the sense that when it comes to peace, like a question was asked by the earlier speaker, I would like to again put up a question that we understand peace is somewhere a sense of comfort, isn't it? Peace is somewhere when I'm easy with myself. But my another question to the eminent panel and all the attendees is that will I want peace for 2 minutes, or for 2 hours, or for 2 days, or for lifetime? So this is something, we need to sit back and find an answer for ourselves. Like it's been a busy day, we come back home, we take water, and then we want to relax and we want to, just soothe ourselves. Now, this relaxation is absolutely for how much time? Do we want to live always in a happy state, always in a relaxed state? That is the question, because when we actually do this question, we understand that where is peace on my priority list? What is happening is that we have so many dreams, so many ambitions, and in that somewhere we don't mind if we sacrifice peace. So the whole day I'm kind of sacrificing my peace here and there, and then at the end of the day when I come back and I say, hey, I'm feeling so restless. So why is this happening? So I believe whenever we want to learn a new skill or we want to apply something, the why part is very important. The how part will follow it. But if we understand why is it important, that makes all the difference. So peace for me would be a sense of harmony within, of course, because as rightly put up, that if I'm at peace, if I'm at harmony within myself, that means my thoughts, my feelings, my speech, and my actions outside, because my behavior is the external representation of what I'm thinking inside. If all of this is aligned, then I am at peace. But again, the question comes up, how many times are we aligned? How many times are we able to maintain that equilibrium or that tranquility, by whatever name or terminology we might want to call it? So here, I think when I'm speaking to my audience, and I think training is somewhat, I really believe, because I had entered into the corporate sector. If I give my personal example, a fresh MBA graduate, and I started with V Customers, which is BPO cum software division, now taken over by Tech Mahindra. I'm giving a very quick snapshot. but I was somewhere looking for something else. I was not really happy in that routine, mundane, I would say, an HR job where I was doing a lot of MIS kind of work. So I remember that I used to organize a lot of events, and that gave me a lot of satisfaction. I came to academics, and being surrounded by my students gave me my inner calling, what I really wanted to do. And then I also joined in the corporates as a freelancer. So we need to understand the why part, the how part will follow. And very quickly, I'll sum up that we also need to understand a few questions, like when it comes to respect. What is respect for us? And let's be very practical, because I thought I'll try to bring out some practical stuff which we all face, in this Peace Summit. Everyone is trying to share his or her perspective, and I think I'm so nascent in front of everyone. So I would say that, say for example, in my colony or in my society, there is a guard bhaiya. With the pandemic and with the lockdown last year, there is a guard bhaiya who has a 12-hour duty. Now, that's his duty, that's his job. And he's there in the hot summers, and he's got his own water bottle. But what if I go and say hello to him during my walk or from my terrace? Or can I also take one step ahead, go downstairs and offer him some water? Or a step ahead, offer him some juice, or maybe, sharbat or bale, because it's so hot. So these small acts, which are of course stated as acts of kindness, but that will only come if I can sense what he or she is going through. And when you are able to sense, when you are able to actually put yourself in the shoes of others, that is called empathy. So I think empathy is the need of the hour if we really want to understand the concept of peace, because each one of us is going through his or her own struggles. The journey is not easy, but if you can, just put the pause button for a while and try to look at things from the other person's perspective. It can be a 9, it can be a 6, but both are correct. The difference is only from where you are looking at it. So these questions, for example, nowadays we see a lot of videos on social media, and somewhere it has an influence on our mind also. So we are looking at celebrities, we are looking at the kind of clothes they are wearing and all that they are flaunting, but have we ever met them in real life? No, not really. Now the influence, I tell you, of marketing, and this is emotional marketing, it is so strong that next time when we want to buy something like a Kareena Kapoor, we want to buy something like an Alia Bhatt, right? So this is having a subtle influence, which we need to understand if we want to be at peace with ourselves, because it was very often, it has been debated that how will peace come? Peace can never come, what I personally feel, from outside. And is peace and happiness, are they, are they like at two ends? I don't think so. Because when you say I'm at peace, can you ever be at peace without being happy? So I think they're somewhere synonymous. We need to understand the way we are looking at it. And in day-to-day life, very, very small examples. For example, the maid or the servant that comes to our house for domestic help. Earlier, I give you a personal example that I didn't used to go and say hello to them. I don't know, I mean, I'm accepting it, but I didn't used to do it. But again, I'm happy that I understood that no, when any elder person or when any guest comes to my home, then I'm asked to present myself and say hello, namaste. And why don't I do it to that auntie on a daily basis? So, these small things actually made me understand my concept of peace, not getting driven by external influences, and being in harmony to the maximum level I can be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vivek. Definitely, I think this is what we all are deliberating, that peace comes from within. It is intrinsic, and there is nothing is impossible. Nothing is there that you cannot do. When you want to align your words, your thoughts, your action, it's only you who can practice it. You don't have to sit in a meditation posture to attain peace. Whatever you do, if you do it willingly, if you do it wholeheartedly, if you give your 100%, you attain peace in that. And I would like to quote it that our mind is a garden and we are the gardener. It's we who are nurturing it. How we are nurturing makes us or takes us towards that journey, which is called meeting and attaining peace. This brings me to Dr. Anurup Kaur. Dr. Anurup Kaur, we are deliberating about peace, and we have heard various versions by everyone how they feel peace is intrinsic and how they are implementing or bringing in peace to their daily life, whether it is addressing their maid or it is training people, or is it just sitting and enjoying the serene and beautiful and tranquil nature or everything. So how do you think, being a principal of a school, how do you bring peace and the entire culture of peace when you are educating your children?
Thank you, Ms. Seema. I would like to start with a small poem. No fear, no wars, neither mine nor yours. Fly above, rise and arise, neither burn nor freeze like ice. Sunlight that is everywhere, broad mind, acceptance which is rare. Secret cave of unfamiliar size, who understands, adapt, is only wise. First of all, I'm thankful to Ms. Chanchal Bhargava, director and founder of 3H, for collaborating with heads. And I'm really thankful to Dr. Aruna Vadkar also, who has given me this chance to present my views in front of all of you. And representing heads, I am really feeling happy to share that as a mentor, it is my duty to spread peace, not only with my words, but with my actions. Peace is personal for each of us, longs for security and tranquility. In the face of the troubles, anxiety, and chaos that often touch our lives, to implement the same, there is no shortcut, and the only way is to follow the education. As nowadays, we are giving training to our students of social and emotional learning, which is really working and which helps them to maintain balance between me and my society. Through different activities, we encourage them to think critically. If I remember my childhood, I realized that my father was a role model for me. He always taught me to act as I expect from others. It always made me feel that it became a base for me to live in peace. I strongly believe that one day I will also rest in peace like my father, because he made me realize the importance of live in peace. As per Albert Schweitzer, until man extends his circle of compassion to include all living things, man will not himself find peace. If we think, what is social? Because we all are social animal. S, that stands for secure. O, that stands for open-minded. C, for collectively. I, in unison. A, for adjusting, and L, for linking. Man grows along with the society, follows, accompanies, and supports others. All this happens with true education. True education is not to score good marks in any subject, but it is to understand the practical approach of life. As per NEP 2020, we should focus on high order thinking skills. We must encourage our students to select their passion. Education is the only means to differentiate between right and wrong. As per our education system, we give basic knowledge of everything to our students for their holistic growth. But to promote peace, it is important to make everyone realize that the peace of individuals is a small goal, and the peace of many people together is a bigger goal. Self-assessment is the best way, which has been recently introduced by CBSE. When we see ourselves as separate from our community and from nature, then violence and strife arise. It is only when we understand our path is an overall unity that there is the possibility of peace on a larger scale. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Anurup. That was very well put, and we could hear it that the principal is speaking. So the teacher in you came alive, and you have got the screen alive with that. So this brings me to our next eminent panelist, Dr. Saraswati. Dr. Saraswati, I would like to know from you, as you are the last panelist of this panel, and everybody has given their own inputs, how the culture of constant change makes it easy for us to understand peace, makes it easy for us to spread peace and awareness and happiness. But again, the one thing which was the invisible thread which binded all of us together was our belief, our belief system of peace. How do we see peace and how do we impart peace? You are heading 3 institutions altogether. So how do you spread peace? How do you spread happiness to the younger minds who come to your school, say right at the age of 3? Because Dr. Anurup told us about how she is dealing with that. But I particularly want to know from you that when the small children come to your school, the younger ones in pre-primary, how do you make them the agent of peace? How do you make them the social ambassador who are spreading peace?
Thank you, Dr. Seema ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank Mrs. Chanchal Bhargav ma'am and Dr. Aruna Vaktar ma'am. And I apologize everyone for keeping the video off because right now I'm in the hospital along with my son. I apologize for the same. All the panelists have already spoken and they have given their views of education, peace, everything. Before going to my words, I would like to quote a small prayer which many of us know. We always have a prayer in Sanskrit. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Madita Vastu Madhidavashavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This prayer is being taught to me right from my childhood. Coming from a Brahmin family, I have always woke up with the shlokas or chanting prayers of my grandmother, which was alarm for us. That's how I have been brought up. And trust me, I have implemented the same in my school also. And my school, I have a schedule in the assembly where I have a different type of assembly, which starts from Monday to Saturday. There, I have tried to implement irrespective of any religion. I just make them to talk about quote from Mahabharata, Upanishad, even from Quran, from Bible, everything. I make sure it has been implemented in the school a day in and day out so that when the day begins in the school, it starts from like we. As Aruna ma'am already said, when we remove this I and we think of we all grow together. Yes, that is the first step what we try to do. When talking about peace, what other panelists have spoken, I would like to support them and also say that living in peace is about living happily with yourself and others. I believe that it is both an inward and outward process. We always say one word, rest in peace, like how we have got this quote, rest in peace versus live in peace. We say rest in peace for the people who have gone, but we are not sure whether they will really rest in peace or not. But we are alive and we can make sure that we will live in peace so that we will go peacefully from the surface of this earth. To make that happen, what we need to do, a simple thing, what I believe is, we need to talk about love, we need to spread love, we need to spread happiness. Like one of the member was telling, Sugandhi ma'am, Dr. Sugandhi ma'am, yes, I always get mesmerized by her talks. She said one word, smile is the only curve which sets everything right. It's absolutely right. So when we keep everyone happy, I'm sure we are creating an atmosphere of happiness within us as well as our surroundings. When things are good around us, we also feel happy and people around us are happy. I'm sure we are living in peace at that moment. That is for sure. So when we try to make most of the time like this, living happily, helping each other, ignoring other mistake, because we always become judge for other mistake. We just start telling them this is a mistake, whatever, and we just take the position of a judge when we spot out others' mistake. But when some mistake is shown to us, we become lawyers to defend ourselves. If we stop this attitude and we accept ourselves, whatever is happening, I'm sure we will always think and we will walk in the right direction. As there's a saying which goes, watch your thoughts for they become your words. Watch your words for they become your actions. Watch your actions for they become your habit. Watch your habits, they become your character, and watch your character and they become your destiny. And this destiny we can write by ourselves. This is only achieved only when we are able to be happy, when we let our desires go away from us, when we accept what we are actually in reality. Because nowadays what has happened is we start comparing each and everyone with others. I start comparing myself with others, and we start comparing our students with others. When we stop doing this and we tell them, children, learn for the sake of knowledge, not for the sake of certificates or degrees. Achieve, because every pot is different. Every pot will require its own, we can fill its own content. There is nothing comparison. So every child is unique. Every child has got every ability to do the things. So when we provoke them, instead of competition, let us walk together hand in hand. I'm sure we'll be able to achieve that. And it can also be achieved by what I feel personally is, let us treat everyone as equal. Whether it is male or female or whatever it may be, everyone, if we get hurt, it is hurt for everyone. It doesn't mean that men doesn't, we always have that belief that men will never get hurt. Women will get hurt easily. Both are wrong. Both of them will get hurt. We shed out tears and we show, wherein men pretend that they are not got hurt, they will never show. But in reality, everyone gets hurt. So let us make sure that we will not hurt each other. We will spread love to each other and make sure that everything around us is happy. And like Seema ma'am said, we cannot serve from an empty bowl. We need to be happy within ourselves. And to be happy within ourselves, we need to do the things which we like. And one more thing I would like to confess here. If you ask me, whatever you're doing right now, are you happy? Yes, many a times, no. We need to accept that reality, no. But then at least we can give justice from our end. Whatever we are doing at that moment, we need to make sure that we will provide justice and 100% dedication will be given, so that it will lead us to be happy. And then in around what I can say is, happiness will lead to be in peace, so that we will live in peace as long as we are alive. And we will also make sure that people will miss us when we are gone. This is what I would like to say. But I would like to put a small, today I received one SMS. I would like to put in a small nutshell. It goes like this. We all have heard about the story of a rabbit. That means the tortoise and the hare and the tortoise. And where the tortoise has always won. And this is what the story we keep telling. Today I found a different version of that. And the story goes like this. One person meets the rabbit and he asks, how are you doing? He introduces himself very proudly, telling, I'm the rabbit who have lost the race. Then the person asks the rabbit, why is that you lost the race? We all knew that hare is always faster than the tortoise, but still, how did you lose the race? Then the hare says, I knew I will win the race, but I thought the greenery, the scenery, everything was so good. I thought I'll just have a small nap. Then let me make up to the race. Then while I was sleeping, I had a dream. In that dream, I met a person who asked me, who are you? I said, I am the hare who is going to go for the race. Then he asked, what is the reason for the race? I said, the hare said, to show to the world that I can run fast. Okay, today you will show it to the tortoise. Tomorrow, a snake will ask you. Day after tomorrow, an elephant will ask you. So do you think that your life is meant only to show for other people that you can win? No, that is not real life. The real life is such thing that what you want to do at that moment, do it for yourself, which will keeps you happy. Then the hare realized, this moment I don't want to win the race. I want to have a good sleep where the jungle is full of fresh breeze and I want to sleep happily. And he did that. And he lost the race, but he won his life. he was happy at that moment, and that counted, and that was the happiest moment in the Hayes life. And this story which I received in WhatsApp, it was so much, I had a different view, and I really wanted to pass it on to everyone. Let us all be happy to live in a peaceful world. Thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saraswati. Indeed, we need to be present because it is the only moment that matters. So while the hare was resting, he was enjoying the beauty of nature. He was enjoying the breeze, which was soothing the hare to sleep and see the dreams that the hare was going to fulfill later. So it is not about winning the race. It is about, are you present in that moment? And that is what mindfulness is. And today, after hearing to each one of you, I think we have realized one thing, that the way we see the problem is the problem. So first of all, we need to change our lens and see the things in a different manner. And if you want to change your lens, we have Dr. Aarti Agarwal also to help us do that. That was on a lighter side, but that is what is needed. And you need to have humor in your life, because that makes you happy. To bring that smile, to lighten the moment, it is very important. And at some time in our mundane life, we really forget that we have to enjoy. Do we really pay heed to that? So that is needed. And towards listening to all of you, this also reminds me, Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya. I think that is what we have done, from darkness to light. Each one of us have taken that journey from darkness to light. So when we take this journey, we definitely have to give our audience also some good mantra before we finally tell them, okay, now we will have a peaceful evening. So Dr. Aarti, I would like to come to you first. I want you to give one mantra for peace to our audience and to all of us also. What is your mantra for peace?
Thank you, Dr. Seema. My mantra for peace. I had read it somewhere. Respond, don't react. Listen, don't talk. Think, don't assume. So I feel these three commandments, that is, listen, think, and react. If one follows them, I think it's going to be, a path leading towards peace. So, it's said that, life is 10% of what happens to you, and it is 90% of how you react. So your reaction makes a very big role in your mind, in your body, in your soul. So just follow these commandments, and I'm sure that it will lead you towards peace. I think that's what peace is for me. Thank you.
That was really beautiful. So this reminds me of a quote. The bad news is time flies. The good news is you are the one who is sitting at the driver's seat. So this brings me to Dr. Aruna Vadkar. Dr. Aruna, we are talking about peace. I want from you an acronym for peace. So how do you define peace from PEACE?
Great. Sure. I would be sharing the acronym as you said, and hopefully that, it does make a meaning. For me, when I talk about peace, is that we have an alignment of what you think, what you speak, and what you feel, and what you do. So if all these are in alignment, we are already in peace, because we don't have to think whom we have heard, because we have already thought about it and then behaved. So when I talk about the peace word, like, let me tell it, like, it's positive energy activates constant elevation. So when you have your positive energy in you, it elevates each step that you take. So P as in positive, E as in energy, A as in activate, C as in constant, and E as in elevation. So let us all elevate towards peace.
That's beautiful. Very well put up. So coming to you, Mr. Shetty, again, your quick question. This is the last round of quick question. There is no sequence I'm following, so all of you need to be active. If you miss your name, you miss the chance. Okay. So we come to you, Mr. Shetty. Mr. Shetty, you spoke about dying empty, and there's a very, very wonderful book which says die empty. Do not take anything with you. So it's better to empty your bowl, spread happiness, spread peace. So your pearls of wisdom for the audience.
Well, So my wisdom to the crowd is something where you always be grounded, accept and acknowledge whatever you are today. Think that whatever you're getting, that's for your growth. Be humble and be kind. Your ultimate, the aura of your body, that message which automatically pass on to the many people. So even the acronym I have found out that for a peace is also about the prosperity, equality, acceptance, compassion, and education.
That's beautiful. You have compassion and education do go together, because not about education being literate or illiterate. It is about how you are treating others shows how educated you are. So this brings me to Dr. Anurup. Dr. Anurup, I would like to know from you, if you have a bowl full of goodies, okay, and you have to pass it on to others, and that is basically the light of peace that you are passing, what will be your mode of passing that? So I told you this is a quick one. Okay, and you have to unmute yourself, because pearls of wisdom needs to be spread when you are unmuted.
Yes. Can you repeat question, please?
Yes, you have a bowl full of goodies, or we can say you have a bowl full of pearls, beautiful pearls you have collected. Okay, now these pearls are the messenger of peace. How do you pass it to everyone? And it has to be a very quick one, something bang on.
Yeah. See, I would like to give it to whosoever comes first, right? So when we are going to give it to those who are just nearby and not selecting the ones whom we like or something like that, then it will give more peace, because everybody needs those things.
That's beautiful and very well said, because above all, we keep things simple. So coming to you, Mr. Vivek, keeping it simple, your words of wisdom for the audience, how do they attain innate peace? Because you spoke about intrinsic peace. So I want to know from you, how do they attain this intrinsic peace? Because everybody thinks if they're sitting in meditative posture, then only they can achieve peace. You know very well that sitting in meditation posture doesn't mean that you will attain peace. We are not going to get our Bodhi tree to get the peace or get the enlightenment. So how do you see people attaining peace in their daily life? What is your mantra?
Okay, so I think peace is something innate, but yes, we are losing it out day in and day out. So first of all, as I said, we need to prioritize. And secondly, see, I mean, how many of us are actually wanting things to change so that I can be peaceful, Like if my boss changes, okay, I'll be peaceful. If my spouse changes, I'll be peaceful. If my parents change, I'll be peaceful. So if we have this kind of thinking, things are not going to change. I mean, someone has very rightly said that it's good to wear slippers rather than carpet the earth. So if you think that wearing your own slippers is an easier task, why not do your own protection? Now, own protection, by that what I mean is that take charge of your own thoughts and emotions. Because when you get up and when you head out for the day, you never know what will happen the next moment. Suppose your car has a flat tire, right? You are going and there is a huge traffic jam. You are reaching your campus or your office and suddenly things have come to a standstill. So what I'm trying to say that anything can happen at any point of time. But if you take charge of your thoughts, and how to take charge of your thoughts, yes, morning time helps you in that. I mean, that is what I try to do. So we have got a lot of things available on YouTube, internet, a 5 a.m. club kind of thing. But then whatever suits you, I mean, have some time for yourself, wherein you can talk to yourself. That self dialogue is somewhere missing nowadays. That's number one, very, very important. Number two, to be aware of your thoughts, because multiple thoughts come in our minds, that is for sure. But we need to be aware of it. Okay, is this thought kind of naturally acceptable to me? Like, I also get angry. Okay. I also feel that irritation, but then if I can just stop, or even if I have poured it to somebody, maybe a later retrospection can help me that, hey, could I have handled this situation in a different way? Now, even if you are into that zone, believe me, things are working for you because you have pressed the pause button and you want to change the things in your life.
Mr. Quatra, I
So,
really liked one thing which you have told earlier also, and again you said that pause button. And one more beautiful thing you said that we need to take guard of our own self first. We need to take care of our own self first. Since you spoke about taking care, and we know the pandemic situation is going on, just for the social media and for the entire public, wear mask safety first. Because from your talk, I could analyze. Suppose you are wearing a mask and traveling in the lift, the other person who is traveling with you is more peaceful, and other person is wearing a mask and you are traveling with that person, you are more peaceful that we are not spreading virus. So social awareness message, please wear your mask, okay? And you can see Dr. Aarti's video, she keeps on posting those kind of videos because we need to spread awareness. And I got this idea from your talk, Mr. Quatra. This brings me to Seema because the very, very quick round. Seema, your acronym for peace, and why that acronym? Very quick.
So for me, peace is precious because the goal of all goals is peace. Peace is eternal. We are peace. By default, we are peace. Everything else is added upon to it. If we remove everything else, we are peace. Peace comes with acceptance. As soon as we accept things that some things are in our control, some are not in our control, we become peaceful. Peace is a state of consciousness, and peace lies in empathy with others. So P for precious, E for eternal, A for acceptance, C for consciousness, and E for empathy. That's peace for me.
That's beautiful. Now we are coming to our last panelist. Dr. Saraswati, you told us that you are in hospital right now. So a condition can understand we are in a very different frame of mind when we are in hospital for any work, okay? A doctor, we are working in hospital is a different thing. But otherwise, if we have gone to hospital, we are always in a very different frame of mind. From hospital, you are attending this panel discussion. You spoke so very well about peace. I want to understand one thing. What is giving you peace at this moment? Being so calm, being so attentive, being such a good orator during this situation also. So what brings peace for you?
Ma'am, to be very honest, I accept things as it comes to me. I always feel that if life is not throwing me any challenges, I am not what a person I am today. And I am always for that. Any challenge, every day in and day out. I think Aruna ma'am knows much about me. To be very frank, every time I am always committing with one or the other challenges every minute. So it has put me to that level. Okay, life is this one. This is what I need to do. So I always keep myself very cool. This is how people call me. They call me Mrs. Cool. She's always cool with a good, big smile. And even in my school, they give me that credit. Any parent, any angry parent, you just send him to my chamber within 2 minutes, he's cool off. That's how I handle the things. And I believe this is a God gift to me, or even the experience, what I've undergone, the bitter experience of my life has transformed me. I don't know, but I always believe in one thing. As Vivek sir said, a pause button. When you're angry, when you are not in a mood to react to anything, just put a pause button, hold on for a moment and think whether is it required, is it going to be helpful if I move ahead, or if I'm going to talk. If I think of all those things, I'm sure will be in such a position to help others. This is how I have been handling things, and this is what makes me to work wherever I am. And right now I'm in the hospital only because my son is unwell, and I hope nothing will happen to him. I'm very sure about it. I'm very positive towards my life because my blood group is B positive. So I'm always positive towards it. And thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
That was beautiful. That is the spirit, and all of us will pray, and he will be very well soon. He will be very well. So that is what is the spirit. You know, it's how you take life. it's again it is interesting, and that it comes to the outer world. We need to be peaceful. Man, vachan, karm, sab ek line se ek साथ sync होते हैं, as Mr. Quatra said. If that is there, then we can say yes, we are at the state of peace. And peace needs to be sustainable. Peace cannot be like, today I am at peace because I have to attend the summit, tomorrow I have to attend some other summit, so I'll be in a different frame of mind and I won't be peaceful. No, peace needs to be sustainable, and that is what we have learned today, that it's all starts from us. It all starts from a smile, and it's all starts with collaboration. When we extend our hand, head, and heart to each other, definitely with these three H, I will include the dancing also, because when we are happy, we need to enjoy. So with our head, heart, and hand, we say thank you to Chanchal ji and heads for this beautiful deliberation, because we have learned so much. We keep on learning, and the more we will learn, by being non-judgmental, I think we will attain peace, because then we become the learner for life, and we bow down to each other because we see everyone as our teacher. Otherwise, we always wear this hat that, oh, we know everything. We are teachers, we are principals, we are mentors. So mentors also need to bow down to their mentee to learn. So thank you so much. And Dr. Sugandhi, the entire stage screen is all yours now.
Yes, Dr. Sugandhi, before you could come into picture. Yes, Ms. Chanchal, it was really, sharing the platform with you, with your thoughts and the mantra that you have, head, heart, and hand. So it is really, really good. And it was, I was so elated to get people to talk about peace, know more about peace. That was really good. And I think Sugandhi, Dr. Sugandhi would come forward. Would you like to say something, Ms. Chanchal?
Yeah, sure. It's same feeling here. When we collaborate, as Dr. Seema ma'am said, that when we collaborate, it's again become more beautiful for each other, and life is beautiful. Saraswati ma'am has already laid a beautiful example that this is peace. When even during the adverse situations or problems or anything around us, and we still stay calm and focused, have faith, be positive, that's peace. That's wonderfully. She has laid her live example today. And we started with a prayer. When before I speak, I just showed a video. I didn't speak about that. Just for 1 minute or 30 seconds, I want all of you to close and just recall what we saw in that video. Isn't that enough to recall? And now I would like to know from you. Is not that the long journey of 1.5 hours, what we discussed, that was shown in that video? That was there, starting from the very blessings taken up by the child, holding and moving from, moreover, ups and downs, struggles, everything, reaching to another person, giving those blessings and prayers to one who is in need. See the head, heart, and hand collaboration successfully done. And that's what is peace. He was focused that yes, these blessings are meant for one of my friend who is in need. So without caring, nothing has bothered him in and out, nothing. And he reached and successfully he gave. And the same we did today. Under the amiable support and moderation by Dr. Seema Negi, beautifully compiling everything together as usual with a smile on her face. That's the beauty that I always appreciate, and I am a big fan of her about this. She knows about it. And this is, what we are here for today, that we need to we have number of acronyms today, all given by all the panelists, and my dear Dr. Aruna Vadekar beautifully told about the acronym of peace. One mantra I would also like to speak, which may include all what we have spoken, that is SLUSA. That is one mantra we 3H use for. SLUSA stands for, means stand in every situation, whether it is happy moment or sad moment, in any moment you are. First, that is stop, for S, stop. First S for stop. Listen, then understand. Very, very important. To listen and understand, then soothe yourself. With that understanding, soothe yourself and then act. So if we have this SLUSA with us, really, you will feel that you will be on moon and at peace every time with the shining of the moon upon you. Thank you so much. And it's great pleasure and hearty congratulations to heads and all the panelists for conducting this wonderful session today with 3H. I really blessed with all.
Thank you, Ms. Chanchal, and thank you, Dr. Seema Negi. It was a pleasure watching you while moderating. And I too have an accordance for peace, for me, protection of environment for achieving clean earth. That is from my end. So I was not the panelist, but I thought I can take this moment to say that. Yeah. So it was a very good takeaway. One I liked is from Mr. Shetty, "We live in pieces and rest in peace." That was excellent, which I think I should work on it. And I also like one Mr. Videk's, that it depends upon each perspective, whether they are looking at 6 or 9, but just look the number. That is more important than keeping yourself blind. That was, I really liked it. And also I liked one statement of Dr. Seema, "Our mind is a gardener and we are the garden and we are the gardener." And also the bad news is time flies and the good news is you're the pilot and who flies it. That is excellent. And I really loved Saraswati's identifying ourselves. And she also said, we feel that men don't get hurt. They definitely get hurt. In fact, I have seen that men are even more sentiments. I know they have sentimental emotions than ladies. The only problem is we express even a tiny bit and they are little strong and don't come out till they are pushed to the extreme end. That's what I have seen. And I like the acronyms of Ms. Seema Jain and the way Dr. Anurup Kaur said about her goodies, how she will give. That was spontaneous. These are the takeaways, and it was a pleasure hosting this event. And thank you, Dr. Aruna, when she called up last night and said, "Can you do it?" I was so excited because peace is something that we talk about, but we don't realize that we ourselves sometimes, in talking of peace, we take the peace from others. So that we have to. That was one thing that it was, very good on this occasion, that I learned a lot, and there was a lot of enthusiasm on the whole. And we had been fortunate enough to have eminent speakers from education, medical, corporate, and everywhere. And thank you so much. And every one of us was speaking about smile. So I would like to conclude this.
Okay, before you conclude, Dr. Sugandhi, let me just add one more sentence here, that thank you so much, Dr. Aarti Agarwal, for being on this platform and joining us this evening. Thank you so much within your busy schedule to be coming on here as a keynote speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I would like to thank one and all here who's present, Dr. Aruna, Ms. Chanchal, and all the eminent speakers, Dr. Seema Negi. Wonderful being with you. And we were speaking about smile. So I would like to end this session with a small poem. A smile is such a lovely thing. It wrinkles up your face. And when it's gone, it's hard to find its secret hiding place. But for more wonderful it is to know that what smiles can do. I smile at you, you smile at me, and so one smiles makes two. Thank you so much. It was been wonderful with you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Dr.
Ms.
Sugandhi.
Thank you, Narayana ma'am. Wonderfully, you ended with your smiles, and that has really created number of smiles. So thank you so much to you. You have wonderfully hosted the program. You know, a good start has always a good end. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank
Live
you
in
so
peace,
much.
to live in peace so that people will not say that we are resting in peace. To live in peace, be responsible, be sensitive. Again, coming back to the social message, wear your mask. You look beautiful when you smile behind the mask. Also, it is very, very important because we are not understanding the gravity of the situation. So, from this platform, we would like to spread this message to everyone because we are all from diverse fields, but it is very important that the change need to start from us. It's an attitudinal change. So wear mask and follow your
Rightly
heart.
said, Dr. Seema.
Yes.
Live in peace.
Rightly said, wearing a mask, it hides your smile. But when you speak to a person, your words should smile. That is how it makes the other person feel happy and looks at you for a helping hand. So
And
that's the first
not only that,
smile as well.
when we smile, unknowingly our eyes smile. That we never know.
Very
We
right.
don't notice that. We
Very
don't
right.
notice that. So
Right,
by
right.
wearing the mask and when you smile, we can vision to see the eye smiling. That's always
Eyes
there.
smile.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you
Right,
so much.
right.
So you don't need to be altered, madam. You have your originality has to be still there. Whatever the situation may throw, the life may throw at you. You be the original, right? That is what we need to be, taking care of. That's so nice.
Yes,
That's so
yes.
nice.
Great, Shetty sir.
Thank you so
Right,
much.
very
All
Thank you
true,
so
right.
very
much.
true.
Thank you so much, everyone. And lovely having you all on this platform. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
More prayers and smiles to each one.
Thank you.
Rahil sir, please stop the live streaming.